We're here. Welcome, UTB Blogcast number 48. Yeah, it's been a big week, and we're all back. Well, most of us are back. We're missing Chap. Chap was supposed to be here. Oops. So we got Dave, Erica, Bartron, Roy, and I'm back.
I think this is a coincidence that it's Blogcast 48 because it's the same as my IQ.
And I think James got lost. We saw on film that he never walked to anywhere, so maybe he's stuck somewhere.
Yeah, got caught by a Disney alligator, I think. That's not funny. Who the hell's laughing at that?
Biggest news of the week for me, and I can't believe it's not being talked about more, and I don't get this at all, but this mobility solutions segment that John Chen introduced during the earnings call. We just watched John Chen pull a genius move to save the handset division. I was kind of hoping someone would jump in there, but yeah, he's wrapped the handset division that that he had given the September deadline of this is when we're going to look at devices again, right? And the whole plan was that the devices were going to be profitable by September. Well, September is coming up fast, right? And I think it's safe to say that the Priv didn't sell as well as they hoped it would. He's been very straightforward, very honest with the fact that the pricing was an issue. It wasn't moving like they had hoped it would. And I don't know if they would have made that September deadline. But what he's done is he's wrapped a potentially lucrative business around that handset business.
Yeah, the reason I didn't jump in there is because, you said genius and my IQ's 48, so I felt a little nervous. And anyway, I think people were saying it was what, the magic number was 3 million a year or something like that. And so I think what the genius part of it is instead of counting boxes, pieces of hardware getting stuffed in cardboard boxes and stuffed in larger cartons being distributed and calling that your handset sales and hoping it gets to 3 million, instead of that, he's putting all of that responsibility on manufacturers and counting the licensing that's required to create the BlackBerry experience on a handset. So I don't know who he's going to choose for manufacturing list. For all I know, it's Foxconn in Mexico, like whatever, why change? And so instead of making it so that it's, you're taking care of everything, he's using the leverage that is the whole legacy of trying to, successfully turning your company into a software and services organization. So it's kind of turned that whole idea on its ear and going about it in a different way. So I think you did use the word or term genius, and I think you're right. That's the way to get to your goals. You still get the control of tying the secure boot to the hardware that's created, and you still get to provide the BlackBerry experience that we all know, love, and want. But it's done in a different way and not tied necessarily just to hardware units. It's tied to licensing more.
You're nodding your head over there, Bartron. I know that you jumped in on the comments on my post. Jump in, buddy.
Yeah, what he's doing is it's the other thing that's smart is that he basically, by putting software licensing for all the device software in the same unit as or division as the hardware, is that he takes the focus off the number of devices sold. And now, because now you can't tell, you can't judge the mobile solutions division by looking at device sales. Now you only have to look at money it makes. And
Right,
exactly.
that takes quite a bit of pressure off. And in the end, it really didn't matter how many units they sold. What mattered was how much money they made off it. It was the financial number. It's a business. But everybody's just looking at the number of units sold. And so in this case, it'll be much better. It also bump up the profit margin for that division, because he's going to make a lot more profit off of the software than he will off the hardware.
Right, and I mean, in all honesty, the hardware could be a drain, or not really a drain, but a business expense for that segment. You know, I mean, to keep that segment operating, obviously, technology needs to keep moving. And you can basically look at the hardware that's being manufactured by somebody else, designed by BlackBerry with a BlackBerry label on it, because that's something that somebody was talking about on the channel, was questioning, you know, well, they're not building devices anymore. Well,
yeah.
You know, neither is Apple. There's still an iPhone. There's still an Apple iPhone, and they're not the ones manufacturing it. So BlackBerry's not handling the manufacturer anymore. It's going to be manufacturing companies that have skill that can do it and have the expertise to do it, and that is what they do. We still get BlackBerry handsets, and BlackBerry can look at that as, honestly, the R&D segment of this new segment, the mobility solutions.
A good example is ARM. Anyone who follows processors has heard of ARM, capital A-R-M. They actually, you see them, the ARM Cortex and the ARM various architecture, and that they don't manufacture a damn thing. All they do is they design chips and they license the design to various manufacturers. People who actually design silicon and maybe make the chip as well, or offload it to someone else. But that's another example. The one I gave on the blog post is Sony, Samsung, and LG. They make components. Sony is big in the camera sensors. And what they do is they make those camera sensors, they license or sell them to the likes of Samsung, or I don't know if they make it to Samsung, but various smartphone makers. But at the same time, they make their own phones. And I think what BlackBerry is doing is a similar thing. They're going to do R&D for software components. Instead of hardware components that go into smartphones, they're making software components that go into smartphones. And they're going to license it to whoever wants to use it, whether to make a smartphone or not. And they're also going to put it in their own line. It's a model that has been proven to work. I think it's a fantastic, and it'll work certainly better than Sony's. Sony doesn't turn a profit on any of their phones ever. Whereas with BlackBerry, there's a niche. We know there's government and regulated that absolutely need that. Those phones, they need BlackBerry phones, and they've evaluated Android and they've evaluated iOS, and it's simply not good enough. Look at what happened when the German Chancellor switched to an iPhone.
Yeah.
It didn't take long before she was flashing the Z10.
That's right. So what you're saying is ARM needs a different ARM to make components for ARM. Get it? Yeah. I'm all the way there now.
I mean, we can basically just forget about the number of units that need to be sold, and that's what he said in that Bloomberg interview when she was asking, well, how many units, you know, and he says, well, when you factor in this other business, you know, it changes the margin, it changes what's needed. He's all hardware only is only the 3 million, I believe he said, but when you start factoring in this other business, that drops dramatically. We can seriously start looking, as soon as this business segment picks up, as soon as they start licensing this technology out to other phone makers and other product makers, which is something that Bartron pointed out that I missed on my post. It's not just other phones that they're going to be licensing this to. There's the automobile world, there's the IoT world, everywhere that can license this technology and end up paying BlackBerry. I forget where I was going with that, but we can look at the BlackBerry phones as an elite product. You know, you've got these little niche categories that you've got that new phone that's the cloud phone, and nobody's expecting that to sell millions and millions of units. You've got the black phone. Nobody's expecting that to sell millions and millions of units. You've got BlackBerry offering a secure phone, an efficient phone, and the technology for that, for those efficiencies and communications, they can license out to other people. Meanwhile, BlackBerry maintains its security and is available to anybody that wants it.
I think several months ago, I discussed, we were talking about the handsets, and I said they could always just treat it as a value-added feature to their system. So if you sign up with our Bez, so many licenses, you know, give you some phones. And Chen kind of said something similar, saying, you know, it's part of a turnkey solution. It attracts you to the whole system. So technically, they don't have to make money on the phones if that phone is going to help them make money off of their other products and services.
Yeah, absolutely. And one, it was interesting to hear Chen say that, you know, he'd started the process approximately 30 days ago. I think that's what he said, if we're referencing that Bloomberg video with the 3 million handset number indicated. But what he said was, I don't know how that translates into the licensing yet. He hasn't figured it out. It's just that, you know, he's made a decision in a you know, where to point the ship, and you know, with the thought that this is the right way to go in order to keep you know, BlackBerry handsets in the hands of people. I just thought it was interesting that he hadn't really figured out what the licensing number was compared to hard handset sales. Interesting.
Well, he said it was brand new. It was something that he'd introduced internally, like within the last month. And,
that's right.
And there's nothing that's been said about it. I haven't even asked to try and find out, but I can't help but wonder if Silent Circle's new monitor isn't from BlackBerry. I really can't help it. If you've seen,
yeah, the D-Tech clone, you mean?
And it looks exactly like D-Tech. It looks like D-Tech
sure
with a different skin on it.
It
so
is.
I would
love
to be able to say, yeah, you know, go get yourself a black phone powered by BlackBerry, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see what happens, and for all we know, you know, you'll see, even though it's been ripped off, you'll see things like the idea of you know, Blackberry Apps being offered as a bundle too, you know, with the hub and other things, calendar and whatnot. Those were originally slated to be available on other platforms. I don't know what happened to that, but maybe it'll be reintroduced. Not sure.
So we just lost Bartron. So what's next on the agenda there, Erica? Or did you have something you wanted to kick in? I just think this is the biggest thing that came out of the earnings call. I really did. And he dropped it real subtly. I mean, it was one of the first things he said, but it didn't seem to catch people's interest as much as this number, this number, this number. And even, you know, seeing the interview afterwards with Bloomberg and hearing the people asking the questions at the end of the earnings call, it didn't seem like people grasped what that meant.
No, I know, and I was surprised. I ran through the. It was very quick because it was in between meetings, but I ran through the transcript of the AGM and cherry-picked some stuff that looked interesting. And that was one of the things, you know, and I was trying, it was a bit of a puzzle to me when I looked at it. I was, what the hell does he mean by this? But this is really interesting, you know. And then when he said it on the Bloomberg interview, that's when it sort of made sense to me. So I don't know. It's a good thing we have this guy running the show, and I can't help but feel that all of the naysayers are a bunch of, you know, I don't know what to think. It's all a bunch of negativity, and anybody that's talking about this, you know, what are you doing? You driving a taxi, or, you know, you're talking about a CEO of a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Who the hell are you to question what this guy's got up his sleeve? He's turned this company from the brink to, and we all know it was the brink, to break even. I'll say that now, even though it's not quite there. I think it's kind of break even, or soon to be, and you know, the kind of the sky's the limit. I just don't get the negativity.
Well, the most negative I saw came out of your news organization up there, Dave, the CBC, and that was immediate.
It's so embarrassing, but go ahead. Head down for this one.
No, it's shocking because, you know, everyone around me knows how I am about BlackBerry. They hear about it nonstop, and here I am bouncing around throughout my day, just very happy about what I had heard that morning. And I get people here in California coming to tell me about, well, this is what I read, and it was, you know, it was in Canadian news, so it's a Canadian company, and you just want to shake them, you know. It's like, gee, thanks, guys.
I don't get it. These people, I've said it before, these people are working for a news organization that is funded by us, you know, the government. So part of my taxes goes to these people, and they're so. I just wonder what, you know, did BlackBerry run over their cat? I don't get it. It's so bad, these people. Completely ridiculous. You'd think that they'd have some, you know, more national pride or want to get behind something or whatever. I don't know. Maybe they're Leafs fans. Pretty sad.
What's next up there, Erica? Take it over. I'm confused already.
You mean Dave's confusing you? That's something new.
Well, you know, like I said, I have the IQ of 48. Maybe it's leaking over there. I don't know.
I think next on the agenda is that we just wanted to highlight some of the other points of the earnings call. The mobility solutions was definitely the highlight, the premier highlight, but we wanted to talk a little bit more about what else he spoke about during that earnings report. So what did you guys see that also piqued your interest?
Well, I guess I'll dive in there, and I'll say this as a result of reading some comments on some other articles. And the comment was that, oh, you know, BlackBerry sucks because, well, I guess you could go ... and fill in the blanks, but some people. But in this particular case, it sucks because, you know, they still have X percentage of profit, you know, for SAF or SAF, you know, and that's, you know, your system access fees kind of deal. Where way back when the Earth was green, and it's still happening, although declining, people would be paying some form of premium to get access to BlackBerry servers, and we're talking about BBOS 7 and older, right? Okay, so this guy's saying, you know, well, you know, they're still counting on that, and, you know, that's just completely ridiculous. And my response to that was, well, that's like saying Apple's still, making iPhones, and so that's a problem. The point is that as the SAF goes down, and it's inevitable that it will reach zero because you can't keep running BBOS 7 and older devices, which depend on BIS and those service access fees. The software is going up at an equal or greater pace. And as a matter of fact, I would say in a year or maybe more, it's going to eclipse the SAF revenues, and it will become a non-subject. So, yes, SAF revenues are going down, but you know what? Take the money, and I don't care.
Which Chen was also clear during the shareholders meeting that he's not expecting the software revenue to beat the SAF revenue every quarter. But, throughout the year, as far as the total, it will, just as it did last year.
Yeah, look at what happened with the software revenue. It's like, what, tripled?
And who's doing that? Who else is building their business at that kind of rate? That's something that, you've got Apple, who is the most profitable company in the world, taking huge hits, double-digit decreases in sales, and you got BlackBerry, the little engine that nobody thought could, doubling their software business like it's nobody's business.
Yeah, and I get that part of it is through acquisition. I totally get that. And I get that, tripling your $1 is still only $3. I get that, too. But the point is, we're talking about millions of dollars on its way to billions. And it's not going to decrease. We know the SAF is. It will reach zero. But I think that within a year, maybe two, this software play is going to make that SAF look like pocket change.
Definitely.
So I'm long on it, to hell with the shorts.
Roy, did you have some highlights you wanted to touch on, or would it just be repeating the same again?
That I want to talk about. The most important one is not even in the highlights. It's in the title. The company delivers positive non-GAAP operation income and break-even non-GAAP EPS. It's the most important line in this quarter results. I think it's the first time that BlackBerry is break-even. And BlackBerry had approximately 300 enterprise customer wins in the quarter. Approximately 74% of them software revenue was recurring. That means that user of BAS 12 and good or whatever are on the software in BlackBerry, they are staying. They are not leaving BlackBerry. So BlackBerry made money from people who stays. Most of the money not from new people, new users. And software revenue of 166 million.
Yeah, well,
it's going to be like more than 600 million in the end of this year, fiscal year. It's very high. It's much more high than the 500 million that Chen earned last year. So,
right.
3 points.
Well, that speaks. Part of that speaks to the great bait that BlackBerry put out there a while back in getting people interested in BES 10 and 12, and offering not only free trials or inexpensive trials or free upgrades, but also the cloud option, and that is a huge play in telecom these days. The cloud play is massive. I was down at a large data center yesterday, and I won't bore you with the details, but they're tripling their space, and it's going huge. So that was a smart play to get into the cloud. What else was I going to say about that? Oh yeah, was it non-GAAP or GAAP that you were talking about? Generally accepted accounting practices.
Company delivering positive non-GAAP operation income and break-even non-GAAP EPS.
Yeah. So I don't know. It all sounds like positive news. Of course, when you're the CEO of any given corporation, you're going to spin something to the positive. That's part of your job. But hey, I'm looking forward to the next couple quarters. If I think what was the street saying? They were going to get beat down by 8 cents.
Yeah.
Was it 7 or 8 cents or something like that? And it came up to like 2 or 0. What was it?
They beat the estimates by 8 cents.
Yeah. So to me, that's hey, dudes on the street, you got it wrong. It's better than that.
I think that what we're gonna see is Q2, something like this quarter, break even or a minor loss, and Q3 will be profitable again because devices or mobility solutions, licensing, and more software revenue. I think we're gonna see first profitability fiscal year, and the BlackBerry Radar will be on market this July.
Radar, that's the IoT play for like containers and whatnot.
Yeah, and I think that the main income of BlackBerry for the next years is ad hoc and watchdogs.
Well, Roy, I think you're extremely accurate in that. And let's face it, I hate to say it or even remotely want to be a merchant of fear, but the simple facts are the way this world is morphing or changing, the situation we're in right now and the near future looks like we all need to take a lot more care of our security, of our defenses overall, of our information, I mean. And it's the things that BlackBerry's been building that companies, organizations, governments are going to want to sign up for because everybody needs that extra 5 or 10% security for their documents, for their communications in general. So I don't want to be the merchant of fear, but the world is moving in that direction.
Well, I started using watchdogs yesterday. It's very cool, much more than Dropbox and all the other cloud services.
Well, yeah, Dropbox had its security problems for a while there, and they tightened some of it up. But Watchdogs is like, Dropbox on steroids for sure.
Yeah, I have my own workspace, and I can enter multi accounts from. It's not per user; it's per URL. So it's very cool.
And that can be federated between companies, can't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What else about the earnings call? Not much.
I think it's the best earning call that BlackBerry gave us year in a year. It's the best.
Yeah. Well, they've been progressively getting better, call by call. Well, it might have been a dip or two since Chin jumped on, but yeah, for sure, we're so close to.
The media have nothing bad to talk about.
Right.
I see reporters go crazy. We have nothing to bad talk write about BlackBerry. What the hell we're gonna do?
Yeah, did you see in the AGM transcript? I think there was a paragraph there that I didn't cut and paste for everybody, but there's a paragraph in there where Chen actually said, and I'm paraphrasing here because I don't remember the exact verbiage, but it's like he said, it doesn't matter what we say and it doesn't matter what we do. People shit on us, for lack of a better term. He said it in the AGM. He said it.
I mean, that's the thing. Chen is very blunt. He's very honest. I don't understand why people automatically take him to task on everything that's happened to BlackBerry, because he's been extremely honest, extremely blunt. He's telling us exactly what he's doing as much as he can. You know, of course there's things that need to be kept secret. There's the new devices he doesn't need to be handing out like the old leaders did, and the roadmaps don't need everybody's eyes on them. You know, this is a company in the midst of a turnaround. He's doing things to make the company successful, and he's telling us as much as he can, and he's being blunt and honest. I love that.
Yep. Suits me fine. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, let's go ahead and take that into the comment we had on channels today. Can we talk a little bit about the UTB follower that was commenting on BlackBerry's decision to move people over to Android?
Yeah. Let me find it first. I had it on my screen when we started.
What is the comment about?
Okay, it's on our post on BlackBerry software growth, and the commenter is John Espinoza. Says tonight's podcast, please discuss how BlackBerry is looking to move BB10 holders over to the Android phones. I'm very disappointed on the fact that no more BB10 will be issued this year. They will lose those existing customers soon. 2 years is coming up for Passport and Classic.
I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it, but as far as I know, from the BlackBerry roadmap, no BlackBerry 10 phone devices. It's officially planned for the next 3 years. That's what I know. So what I think is BlackBerry is taking BB10 and transplanted into, or whatever, into Android, and I think we will see another version of Android in the next years. That it will be a BlackBerry Android, not like the LG, Samsung, or the other Androids.
Well, I get what you're saying, Roy, and we don't know. Nobody here has a crystal ball, and we all have things that we hear and people that we know. But it was, the comment was no more BB10 devices this year. And I just want to say that there was never any BB10 devices insinuated or promised for this year. It was emphatically stated that there wouldn't be, actually. And so all we're seeing is that's what came true. They said it, and it came true. So whatever. We don't know what's going to happen next year, and it may be that what Roy is hearing, it comes true too. I hope not. I'd like to see at least one handset come out, and I'd buy it. But that was the only comment I had about that. He was disappointed that a BB10 handset wasn't going to come out this year, and that was just to be expected. I don't know what to say.
If BlackBerry had like $5 billion to spend on marketing and bring apps to BB10, I think that we would see a BlackBerry 10 device, but BlackBerry don't have this money, so they're going to what's selling best, and it's Android.
I'll take it a step further, because I really wanted to answer John on the channels, but I wanted to talk about it here. first of all, again, going back to John Chin is blunt and honest. If we go back to his, I believe it was the NDTV interview he did, where he stated emphatically that they were not giving up on BlackBerry 10 and that they had the 2 updates planned. And he was asked, if there would be new devices. And again, he was honest and stated that, once they get past these 2 updates, they would look at it again. They would look at the needs and whatnot. I don't think there really would be anything on the roadmap for BlackBerry 10 because at this point they're pointed in one direction. That direction is profitability. And BlackBerry 10 was never a profitable concept for BlackBerry, regardless of the reasons why. Call it the apps, call it the media, whatever it was, BlackBerry 10 lost the company money. And they can't continue to throw money to lose money, right? I think we all agree on that part of it. But
that's the phase we're in right now. Yes, that's the phase we're in.
That's the phase we're in. However, BlackBerry 10 offers something that nobody else does. It really is an affordable phone if you look at the Passport and the Classic as far as what you're getting, which you are getting a secure phone. There's really nobody else out there that competes with them on that level. You could say BlackPhone does, but you need to be speaking to another BlackPhone for their security to take full effect, and you need to have an extra data plan for their security to take full effect. BlackBerry is secure. So they're offering something that has no competition. I don't see the need to push out a new phone every 6 months when there is no competition out there. For that customer base that requires what BlackBerry 10 offers, they're still selling the Passport and the Classic as top phones that are available now, that are the only ones that can offer this to those customers. Meanwhile, our community, the community that we're a part of, have been arguing, complaining, yelling about the fact that we don't have apps. We need apps. We want our apps. We want our games. We want this bell. We want this whistle. And BlackBerry has answered us. They've answered us with this Android phone and with future Android phones. And I think the Android phones will make the device segment of the new mobility solutions profitable. I don't know if it would have made it profitable by September, but I think we will get there. But as of right now, that doesn't even matter anymore. With this mobility solutions, they need to come out with new technology. They need to continue being at the top of their game and innovating and creating new things that they can license to these other companies. I really think that once this mobility solution starts rolling and being profitable, I can't help but think that the people at BlackBerry are going to look back at the operating system that they love and bring that to the forefront the way it should be.
Yeah, it's truly unfortunate. I had high hopes for Priv sales, and I think that's what was being bet on to make September real as far as box sales went. And I guess the pricing structure wasn't quite right, or whatever you want to call it, the marketing or the lack thereof. And so that's what made, this is going back to the other conversation back there, that's what makes this mobility solutions the better answer kind of thing. You get to combine efforts. So, I'm looking forward to what's going to happen. Truly and dearly want to see some BB10 action. I do believe that we're going to see some July, maybe August 10.3.3, and look forward to some more. I don't have any inside scoop on it, but those are my expectations anyway.
if the demand is there, BlackBerry will do it. We know that. BlackBerry answers its customers. But it can't be one person on our channel saying, I want a BlackBerry 10, when there's 500 people at, an orange channel saying there's no reason for BlackBerry 10.
Right.
It's...
Well, let me put it to you in a different way then. No other commercially available, viable handset has the FIPS certification and security certifications that BB10 has, right? I don't think Android has done it. I don't think anybody's done it.
Actually, Dave, because if you're looking as far as like the United States and the highest level of security, we're looking at the president's phone, and there's
yeah, but it doesn't do anything.
it doesn't do anything. It doesn't. It's locked down. But there's it's a Samsung Galaxy S4 has the certifications and the requirements it's needed to
the shame.
Yeah. I mean, Samsung has the NIOP certifications that BlackBerry is still trying to get that third party to certify right now. I mean, that's what's holding up our 10.3.3. It's not BlackBerry. They're not working on it. It's this third party that's got to certify it. And Samsung has that. They do.
Well, okay. I find it a little bit strange that that's what's happened, but hey, I believe it if that's what you're saying. I got no data to back my point up.
It doesn't mean that you could use your phone for, go out and buy yourself a Samsung S4 and be able to use it on anything, because, I mean, look at that. That made such huge news.
You can't You can't buy a Samsung S4 unless it's in the garbage bin on Craigslist. Come on.
Right, but you've got all these news outlets rushing out. Obama finally ditched his BlackBerry. He got rid of his old device, blah, 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 blah. And it's like they're only looking at the first segment where he says, oh, I got rid of my BlackBerry. They're not looking at the fact that 2 minutes later he's standing there saying, this phone is an embarrassment, I can't do anything with it. We never heard him say his BlackBerry was an embarrassment. We know that he loved his BlackBerry. He spent how much of our nation's dollars on helicopter fuel so he could run back to the White House and grab his BlackBerry?
Yeah.
Now he's got a Samsung that he can't even make phone calls on.
Yeah, well, that's my point. What immediately available smartphone that you can go buy is more secure end-to-end than a BB10 device? There isn't one that you can implement on a thousands and thousands and thousands of endpoints. Whatever. You want to run your government? Are you going to go find a bunch of S4s that are hobbled? You can't. It's technically impossible. The BlackBerry is. You can't do it with Apple. You can't. If you think that the only way to secure a Samsung is to go find a S4 in the garbage somewhere and resurrect it, then where the hell are you at? That's a ridiculous thing for a company or an enterprise or a government to do. So I don't know why the hell they did that. They obviously found some secret thing that they could only do on that device. I don't know.
Well, isn't some bigwig that's responsible for that aspect of the tech they get? Wasn't it a former Google employee, a woman? God, I can't remember this, but I'm almost positive it's a former Google employee that took over some position that that oversees these devices and whatnot.
Oh yeah, I have a faded memory of that.
Yeah, very, very faded.
Yeah. Huh. Oh well, that's another conspiracy theory. Yeah, not that I'm into those much.
I got a roll of tinfoil over here for you, Dave.
No, I got my own. and a spare, yeah. It's amazing. Don't need much tinfoil for 48 IQ. Anyway, where are we at?
Yeah, where are we at, Erica? Shut us up.
I think that about wraps us up, unless you guys have any comments on the new Marshmallow update that just came out today.
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
getting it because I'm on AT&T.
Ha, ha, and extra Canadian ha. As soon as I got out of too many stupid meetings, I went to UTB and I saw the article, and I went and stabbed my update. Boom! And it was 93 or 97 meg or something like that, so it was a quick download. But the usual and or typical amount of time, it seems it doesn't matter whether it's a gig download or a 35 meg download, the amount of time it takes to process the update and reboot and update, the 100 or something bloody apps, is about the same. So this was incremental, not a wholesale upgrade. Yeah, but it still took like 45 minutes for the damn thing to, propagate and update all the apps and whatnot. Anyway, it was the same old thing. That was about an hour ago. No, a little more than that, because we've been doing this for almost an hour. But anyway, it's a couple hours ago, and I haven't noticed anything. Good or bad, because that was then, and this is now, and I have to go play with my phone.
That was my biggest shock, going from Lollipop to Marshmallow. I didn't notice anything. If you go digging through the settings, and the permissions are there, but as far as just noticing anything different, nothing. I've noticed nothing different from my crib before and after. I think it's amazing that all these people are so upset about BlackBerry's next two updates being security-driven updates, when that's pretty much what Marshmallow was. I'm not seeing any new bells and whistles. I'm really not.
Well,
and then of course we know the iPhone updates nothing. They're gonna put out another iPhone that's gonna look exactly the same. It's just not going to happen.
No. You got that all wrong. The next iOS update for iOS 10 is going to allow you to opt in for data acquisition, right? So just like everybody else, the Googles of this planet, the Facebooks, the WhatsApps, the thises and thatses, and even Windows 10s, where if you're smart, you'll go in and totally scrutinize what kind of stuff they're sucking off your computer. iOS is now going to do that. iOS 10 will now become that same kind of platform, and I find it ultimately freaking hilarious and pathetic at the same time that Apple would, and thanks for allowing me this segue into an Apple rant. I find it hilarious that Apple would have this, stance on, privacy and security and encryption, and now they're going to put out an iOS 10 where they're going to suck metadata off you just like everybody else.
The next update of iOS 10 is going to let you SMS to other people and to dial your own numbers when you call people.
I got a comment from wait. I got a comment from Aaron Clark on my YouTube channel saying Marshmallow has the press home button to search the web, and the emojis are different. I know that there's new emojis, but I haven't really stumbled across them. Does that push on home button work for you guys?
Never use it.
Oh, it's push and hold. Push and hold. You've now found on tap. Touch and hold the home button to ask Google to show you related info, apps, and actions using what's on your screen.
That's why I don't use it.
Yeah, I'm with Roy.
Thanks on that.
That's why I don't use it too. I tell you a slightly sad story. One of the guys at work got rid of his Z30 and went and got a Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge. And after I mopped up my tears with a hanky, I started helping him set up his phone. And we went for lunch, I don't know, 3 days ago, and I said, you know, are you going to go whole hog into the Google thing, or are you just going to dive in and be the product? And he said, well, and he's driving the car, and he looks over at me, and he goes, well, you know, why worry about it? I don't have anything to hide. Like the typical thing said by everybody who does this. And I said, okay. And I reiterated a couple of stories about what happens when you sign up whole hog. And then yesterday he comes into the office, walks in, and then walks into my office and goes, I can't believe it. I took Google Maps and I thought I uninstalled it. And then I get in my car this morning, and it's now telling me how to get to work. No, it was him getting into his car, and it's now telling him that he ought to do this and that and the other thing to get home. And so within 24 hours, he'd changed his mind about diving in.
Nice.
You know, that's part of the issue with this AI that's going on, though. AI is the direction mobile tech is taking right now, and the way that this AI is going to work is by collecting your information and figuring stuff out. So that's a thread that we have going on in our forums right now, where we've been speaking about it, because, I mean, honestly, if it is convenient, I see the convenience features of it. I don't want Google having my information because I don't know what they're going to do with it. Now, one of the things that somebody brought up in the forums is, what if the whole thing was contained on your phone and not being siphoned off to Google? That would be the ultimate situation for me, because then you get the convenience, it's still on your phone. And that's something I could see someone like only BlackBerry doing, because they are concerned about our privacy, whereas Apple, yes, even Apple, Google, Facebook, totally Facebook, they siphon our information for their profit. I'm about to jump on a soapbox here again, but I'll be honest, I started, I think it was last week, I made it a point, I said it in group, I'm going to use my Priv as a daily driver. I'm going to do it, because I've had this phone for I don't know how long now. It's been a secondary phone. There's a game or two I play on it, a couple of apps I have on it that I rarely touch. I haven't really been using the phone, and honestly, I just got to thinking, you know, I spend $700-800 on a phone and I'm not using it. That's just stupid, you know. So I was like, I'm going to use this phone as my daily driver, and I think Bigley was the one that made fun of me the absolute most. It was very painful for the first couple days, but I'll be completely honest. I'm not like you, Dave, or Abby. I'm not running from Google, because I don't think I'm getting the full experience of this phone by doing that. There's certain things I won't use. I will not use this phone for my banking or anything I see personal. It's only got my Gmail account on it, that you have to have a Gmail account to use, Google Play services and the store. So, with me carrying this phone, I find that I'm missing some communications because, my UTB Blogs email isn't on it. My bill pay email isn't on it. But I've discovered, like, in the last week, I can use this phone. I am reaching for this phone first now. There's certain things that I am still going to my Passport for. But just talking in group, doing what I do most, which is communicating with you guys, communicating about the website, communicating with my friends, that is the phone I'm reaching for now. And I can say that this is the best Android experience I've ever had, because my biggest complaint with Android has always been, and I've said it a lot, is how confusing it is with the notifications. They drop in one on top of another. They drop in with your app notifications. You end up losing communications, and the hub fixes that. So my number one complaint about the use of Android, BlackBerry fixed just by adding the hub. Other things that we've complained about in the past, as far as like multitasking, I'm not having issues with. When I've got multiple windows open and I go back, maybe it's not running in the background, maybe it is running in the background. I'm not running into any issues. It works for me. I'm actually kind of surprised at how well it has been working for me, but I still don't have that level of trust to where I would, pay my car payment on this phone yet.
Well, I respect that, but I'm still not going to dive into Google. They can kiss my ass.
I can tell you a story.
Go
Today,
for it.
me and Shlomi talked about moving from GoDaddy to Bluehost. And we talked about it in my living room. And I think we didn't even search it on Google or something. And 5 minutes later, Shlomi enters Facebook. And the first thing he saw is Bluehost advertising.
Right. So let me ask you this, Roy. Did you have a device in the room that was logged into Facebook?
We have 3 devices logged into Facebook and 1 device that I can't talk about it.
Thank you. Because Facebook has admitted that they leave the mic live.
Yeah.
But they said they don't save it, like we're to believe that.
Yeah. What a crock of shit.
Because on the print you can disable. My Facebook can do nothing. Not location, not contacts, not on microphone, nothing. I disabled all of the permissions for Facebook.
Yeah, I went a step further. And went into apps on my Priv and cleared the cache so that because there's no way to log out of Facebook using the app. You can't log out. There's no way to do it. So I went into the apps, and then where you see force close or this or that or the other thing. You clear the cache, and then that logs you out of Facebook. So it's impossible for them to use my microphone.
I went a step further, and I don't have the friggin' app on my phone.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I don't use Facebook. I do have a Facebook account out there. I think the last post I put up was you can find me on BBM, and here's how you get it. And that was some time ago. But this has turned into a huge thing for me. We know they track our location. We know they track our browsing history. This whole listening thing just amazes me. The fact that they're going through people's private messages and pulling information from that is ridiculous to me. What was the story? What was the book? The Big Brother is Watching.
84.
In 1984, right? So we've got this huge fear in our public of Big Brother. The fear is that the government is watching us. Meanwhile, we've allowed a commercial entity that has absolutely no responsibility to us doing the same thing.
Yeah,
They
no
are
governance.
watching.
Right.
They're watching, they're tracking, they're listening, and people are happily giving this information over. And
I
what
can say
honestly
something.
disgusts me, but let me finish real quick. What disgusts me is when I bring this up to somebody that is a happy Facebook user, they look at me like I'm crazy.
I can say something, but you will need to edit that after we finish, so I will not say it, but I really think.
Wait, I can't edit this. So
can
think
edit
about it first, because there's no editing.
I will write to you. Tell me if it's okay.
Excuse you.
Yeah, right. Mouth farts.
Dave, entertain the viewers this time.
Yeah.
Let me go get my guitar. No, I'll do that later.
Yep, I said it. Not online.
Oh, just say it, Roy. Say it, Roy. If you don't say it, I'll say it.
Okay, most people are stupid. Most people doing what the government really wants them to do. They want to be stupid. Because when Facebook follows you and take all your data, and WhatsApp doing this, and all the other companies, they basically sell it to the governments around the world. They're selling your information. So if the government, this way that the government take your information without really say to you, give me your information. So if some leader have all the information about the citizens, he can control them, and the more they will be more stupid, they will give him more information, and then Facebook and WhatsApp will make more money, and you will be powerless.
Just because it's funny and not to change the subject, but I'm looking at my screen at the last three things you sent me, Roy.
No.
There's three sentences. One is yup, Chin is brilliant, most people are stupid.
Funny how they flow together.
It all works. It's perfect.
Yeah.
That should have been the title of this podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
It's subliminal messages.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have one more topic after we finish this.
Well, you might as well get it in now.
Okay. I don't know if someone saw it, but BBM will going to get a big update this summer.
Yeah.
And one of the new features will be phone number registration.
Yeah, I saw that. And so, do you think? Well, that was the question. Is that a nod towards ease of use, like how WhatsApp skyrocketed into whatever #1 status or whatever? As much as I hate them, is that a nod to ease of use for people to get together on BBM?
I think what will make difference between BBM and WhatsApp in this feature is you still have to approve your contacts or groups or whatever, unlike WhatsApp. And it will be more easy.
You don't though.
To send invite to people that in your contact list than now.
But wait, you don't though. Remember that first of all, I think this whole phone number registration is completely just answering what people have asked for. People have asked for it, so BlackBerry's doing it. And they've continued to ask, and BlackBerry has resisted it, and they're finally giving in, and they're doing what people have asked for. But if you recall, you don't have to have someone as a contact in order to message them. You have the whole people James Pisano, he created a new ID for probably one of his 17 phones the other day. And he messaged me asking him to bring that ID into the group. I don't have that ID as a contact, but because I'm in his address book, he was able to message me. Now, they said in the post that, if you've got somebody's phone number in your address book, they will show up as people you know. So I can see the ease of use. You can say, hey, there's somebody, and I can send them an invite.
And
but what?
You can sign in to BBM with your phone number. You don't need your email anymore. You can sign up with your phone number in this beautiful phone, and with email in this.
That is a beautiful phone.
Fancy phone.
Well, there's one big difference between between BBM and WhatsApp with this phone number registration, though, because you can send messages, you can invite people if they're in your address book. So we may be liable to getting some spam, which, I mean, let's be honest, going all the way back to BBOS 7, we could get spam. I'll get little messages going, shop this, on a BBM invite. All anybody would need would be my email address to send me a message. Now, the way it is, now they can do it with a phone number. But the big difference is, if they have my phone number in their phone, we're not a contact. They're not seeing my avatar. They're not seeing my status updates. All they can do is send me a message, and I can block them. So while I'm not real happy personally about this phone number registration, I do see the reason for it. It's an obvious reason, and it will, I think, help to get people on the platform.
Yeah. Sure.
But at the same time, which is what BlackBerry has always done, they're protecting our privacy.
And new group features will be, and the most important feature, the video calling.
That's right.
I already demoed it on UTB.
Yeah, that's coming. And I looked at the phone number registration with tinfoil hat on. It's not something that typically I wanted to share unless it was my choice. So I'm hoping that still remains in my control. I don't want other people to know my phone number unless I offer it. But
it's not going to make your phone number available. It all comes down to if they have your phone number in the book. Because I mean, I can actually see
I get
use
that.
for this.
I get that. It's just that you've seen it all over the web. Oh, hey! In order to engage in, they're insinuating two-factor authentication like Facebook. Right. Just put your phone number in here. It's more secure. Yeah. Well, guess what? I'm not giving you my phone number. Forget it. That's just more information that you have on me, and I'm not doing it.
And Roy was worried about calling people stupid.
I downloaded Snapchat from my nieces, and when I downloaded, he said that the app said, "We want your number for verification." And I said, "Okay, I give you my mail. You need my number." And I saw a little word skip. Nobody saw it, I think, until now. And everybody give them the number, and they say, "We will not send you any spam." Wow, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Let's look at one thing that this could actually be useful for, though, because I mean, my BBM is basically all you guys, my friends, my family. It's not my coworkers. I don't have my coworkers on there. I don't have business contacts on there unless they are, in terms of the blogs, the websites. So, I'm pretty out there. I say things, I joke around, I do things that I'm totally okay with all you people, with any of my BBM contacts knowing what I'm saying or doing. Maybe not someone I work with, right? But with this telephone registration, if it works the way it is with the email, they can still contact me with the flawless communication that is BBM without seeing that stuff I don't want them to see. It hit me last night when James messaged me. It can come in handy. It really can. Like, I could tell somebody on the street or, someone at work, hey, just BBM me when you got it. And they can BBM me, and we don't have to be contacts. they don't have to see what joke GIF I'm using as my avatar this week, or what kind of rating I gave on Robert's app that day as my status report.
Yeah, I get it. It's fair.
So BBM 1, WhatsApp 0. That's what I'm saying.
I think it's BBM like 100 and WhatsApp like 2.
There's just more stupid people in the world, right, Roy?
Yeah. Don't feed the beast is all I gotta say.
Did we have anything else we wanted to touch on, or are we safe?
I don't want
think
to touch
that's it.
anybody.
I'm not safe, but it really doesn't matter.
Well, because I want to close this out with one really important thing, and that is John Chen saved our handset business. And if you got people that are, running around continuing to tell us that BlackBerry phones will be no more, we can just laugh at them at this point. Chen has done what so many people said he wouldn't be able to do, and he did it with a really quick sentence yesterday.
Yeah.
So don't let those rays of sunshine get you down, right, Dave?
Yeah, totally.
If you will read
negative.
Taking Alpha or any negative comments from analysts or so-called analysts, you will see that it no longer want BlackBerry to exit the hardware business. They want Chen to go home. They're escalating.
Yeah, silly. No, it's it's the right move. It's the necessary move. If whatever it takes to make this thing profitable, smart money.
All right, so should we call it?
Yeah, I don't know what we're going to call it, but I think that's what we should do. Yeah.
I know exactly what we need to call it. It needs to be called, Yup, Chen is brilliant, most people are stupid.
And trademark it, like Russia.
Yeah.
People can roll trademark.
All right, good night, folks.
Good night.
Good night.
See ya.